Donald Trump appears increasingly unhinged. Earlier today, he was seen on the White House roof shouting bizarrely about nuclear weapons. We already covered that moment. Now he's making headlines again. At an Olympic event, instead of focusing on the athletes, he completely veered off topic. And what's coming next is even more intense. A fact-check segment from C-SPAN that absolutely dismantles his claims. First, let's take a look at this moment.
Because they wouldn't let the water come down. There's so much water there. At first, when I got involved with this issue in my first term, I said to the congressman, they took me up because they wanted to show me the fields where they could farm 10 times more product. You'd see 100 acres.
Just a quick reminder, this was supposed to be an Olympic event. It had nothing to do with water policy, nothing to do with California's infrastructure, and certainly nothing to do with water management. Yet somehow, that's where the conversation ended up. This was an event for the Olympics.
1 acre or 2 acres, beautiful green. It's very vibrant, but they don't give it the water that it's entitled to. And I said, oh, they have a drought? I said, no, they told me we don't have a drought. They don't, the Democrats don't allow the water to come down into the farms and into anywhere. By the time it gets down even into certain parts of California, it's fed out stupidly into the Pacific Ocean. If that water were allowed, so we broke into it and we allowed it to come down, and it come down at a higher level, and we want that, and we're demanding that of the governor.
All right, we'll keep moving forward. But seriously, that was wild. Trump was also asked about redrawing district maps. The clip runs 48 seconds, but I'll save you the time. Your attention's too valuable. In short, Trump claimed Democrats would have done the same. Quick reality check. In places like New York and California, Democrats do hold power, but redistricting is handled by independent commissions, meaning gerrymandering doesn't happen the way it does elsewhere. But now, Texas is going off the rails. Then, things took an even stranger turn. Trump was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell. I'll show you that next, along with a CNN reporter's reaction that really bothered me.
For you. One, were you aware of and did you personally approve the prison transfer for Ghislaine Maxwell that your Justice Department?
I didn't know about it at all. No, I read about it just like you did.
And do you believe that she is?
It's not a very uncommon thing.
Do you believe that she's credible to be listening to? Your Deputy Attorney General sat down with her recently.
Well, let me tell you,
First off, why even ask someone with such a long history of false statements to weigh in on credibility? This is someone who's been fact-checked more than any president in history. So really, his opinion on who's credible, it doesn't carry much weight. Let's be honest.
Talented man. His name is Todd Blanche. He's a very legitimate person, very high, just a very highly thought of person, respected by everybody. And I didn't talk to him about it, but I will tell you that whatever he asked would be totally appropriate, and it's not an uncommon thing to do that. And I think he probably wants to make sure that, people that should not be involved or aren't involved are not hurt by something that would be very, very unfortunate, very unfair to a lot of people.
This whole situation is deeply concerning. Trump's former personal lawyer is now the second highest official at the DOJ. And he met privately with Ghislaine Maxwell. CNN's Caitlin Collins reported Trump said he didn't know about her transfer and called his deputy highly respected, but left out the fact he was Trump's own lawyer. That's key context. Instead of challenging the conflict of interest, the report ends up repeating Trump's framing. Legacy media needs to do better. At least CNN later fact-checked Trump hard. And here's part of that.
I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, a record that they say won't be beaten unless I run again.
Are you going to run again?
No,
Constitution
probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
And you're not going to fire Jay Powell. We'll go talk about all the stuff that.
Hey, Becky, I'd like to run. I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. You know why? Because people love the tariffs, and they love the trade deal, and they love that countries. And they love that foreign countries aren't ripping us off anymore. For years, they ripped us off, friend and foe. And the friend was worse.
Overall poll numbers, you don't have the best you ever had in overall poll numbers. You do. I cited one of those.
I have the best poll numbers I've ever had.
Among Republicans.
I have poll numbers where I'm 71%. I have the best poll numbers. Look,
those are among Republicans.
No. Among Republicans, I'm at 94 and 95%. No, I'm talking about generally. I have the. Let me put it this way: there was a gentleman on Harry Emden yesterday on CNN, and he went crazy over how well Trump was doing. Now, you don't put that on because I think CBS is a shade. Actually, CNN's a shade better than NBC. I think NBC is probably the worst of them all. But if you check CNN tomorrow, watch Harry Emden, and you'll see about the numbers. But that's okay. We have to defend ourselves, Joe.
I know, but there are other. They can cite. Your haters cite polls that have you down in the 30s, Mr. President. And,
but they're fake polls, Joe. I had a lot of fake polls. You also have me in the 70s. I have fake polls. Fox gives me terrible polls all the time. They do nothing, but I've never had a good poll with Fox. And then I win an election, and I go through the roof. Because, look, I won every swing state. Did I not? I won every swing state. Andrew, I won the popular vote by millions of votes. Even though they tried like hell to cheat, I won by millions of votes. I won the counties, and all of the counties. I won 2,750 to 502. And I won the election in a landslide. And obviously that's only, we're only 6 months in. But my poll numbers are better now, much better than during the election. And now part of that is because the Democrat Party is self-destructing. I mean, when you have low IQ people like Crockett, I wonder if she's any relationship to the late, great Davy Crockett, who was a great gentleman. I wonder if she's got any relationship to Davy Crockett, the great old Davy Crockett. But you have this woman Crockett. She's a very low IQ person. Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
So here's the thing. Is it dementia or just classic Trump? Hard to say. He constantly lies, but claiming 91% support from Republicans and 70% overall? That's just not true. The question is this deliberate or is something else going on mentally? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Meanwhile, Trump got fact-checked hard on this, and it was absolutely brutal. Take a look.
To your claim that revision helped Biden hurt you for the 800,000. It was in August. There was still plenty of time for voters to see that those weren't real jobs.
After the election in November, I believe it was in November something. There was a massive revision downward on jobs.
The first one, the 800,000 or 900,000, I think, was in August, and then later it came out in March of 2025. It went to 598, not 818. But the original one.
Well, listen, 598. But there were other revisions downward from prior to the election because the numbers were rigged. Okay. And as you said, the number, look, you take a look after the election, how many revisions downward there were. But let's get back to Texas.
Trump went off again today, and this time, he made a deeply offensive and racist remark. While talking about undocumented farm workers, he claimed they naturally don't get bad backs because if they did, they'd die. That kind of language isn't just wrong. It's blatantly racist. He was also confronted about claims the jobs report was rigged and, unsurprisingly, didn't take the pushback well.
A country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
No, okay, so
This is what happens under authoritarian leadership. Trump also got fact-checked on his claim about oil prices, saying it was $2.20 a barrel when it was actually $280. Even a MAGA-aligned person called him out. And to close, Republicans themselves are sensing trouble. Here's GOP Rep Mike Lawler admitting that the extreme gerrymandering happening in Texas isn't looking good.
So yes, I think it's wrong what Texas is doing. I don't support it. I think it is wrong what has happened in Illinois or New Jersey, for instance, which has a quote-unquote independent redistricting commission where the tie-breaking vote made this declarative statement. Republicans got to draw the map last time, so I'm going to give it to the Democrats, even though it meant resulting in 3 Republicans getting elected. We have to actually have neutral districts across this country. It would serve the country better. I am going to be introducing legislation to outright ban gerrymandering, let alone during mid-decade redistricting, but to not allow it at all. This is fundamentally why Congress is broken. You do not have competitive districts, and so most members are focused on primaries and not actually engaging in a general election.
Yeah, gerrymandering is clearly bad. We spoke with Representative Greg Kaiser earlier. Check out that video for a deeper dive. Hopefully one day we'll get a federal law banning it outright. But until then, we fight fire with fire. Glad even Representative Mike Lawler is calling it out. Even if it's just political posturing, we'll take the support. Thanks for watching this video, and if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I will see you soon.